Hello YouTubers, and a very warm welcome back to my channel. And in these sets of recordings, which I am calling Series 2 of my adventure with CF and me, I am going to be talking about how the vital role of, let's have a drum roll please. That'll do. The vital role of chest physiotherapy. I know, which is a very strong word for me to be saying, although I do have to confess as well, it's not my favourite word to be saying, even though it's a word that appears in a dictionary. But of course it is a medical word too. But anyway, in this particular video, I am going to be talking about how the use of postural drainage is used in combination with chest physiotherapy. So whatever you're talking, or whatever you talk about, no, sorry, it's been a long day. Whatever you're doing right now, I hope that you would sit back and relax and enjoy this special time with me. Check this out. Now, before I carry on, if you're perhaps wondering why my camera is a little bit wonky or a little bit drunk, whatever word you want to use, it's because my, what do you call it, selfie stick, told you it's been a long day, is resting on the very thing itself, my postural drainage bed. But I do like to give a big shout out to my very dear friend, Sean, who gave me this selfie stick. So God bless you always, my friend. So what is postural drainage? Now, before I get on to the conversation, I am now going to upload a picture of my bed, which I use on various days or set days throughout the week. Check this out. So before I get on with these conversations I wish to talk to you about, sometimes I can think these conversations from the top of my head. Sometimes I need to obviously jot things down, so obviously if you see me looking down, it's because obviously I'm not ignoring you, but I'm just reading the news. So without further ado, here is the news. Dying top story tonight. No. Okay, so postural drainage is lying in a 45-degree angle. Now, many donkeys of years ago back, obviously when I was living with my mother and father in their house, a house in the middle of the street, and like I said in my previous video, I'm not the only one who's been born into this household with CF. Also my older brother, and then my sister, and then eventually me. The trio of us has sadly been diagnosed with CF within a short number of years, between 1980 and 1989, which is myself has been born in 1989, also with the genetic condition of CF. And many years ago, obviously, when we were first diagnosed, soon after, once we've grown up a little bit more, we had a professional who came around to do some chest percussions. But obviously, back then we had like a wedge in the way of a triangular shape. So it's like that type of shape, and obviously a flat base for the three of us to lie on, obviously not at the same time, of course, but you get the image. And obviously back then we had to make sure that part of our body was a bit lower, in the sense that the postural drainage can be drained out of our lungs, so just that section there, obviously. And then obviously many years later on, when we all grow up, of course, we got granted this very special bed from CF, so a big shout out to them if they happen to watch, and obviously a big shout out to the oh no, I'm going to say it again, to the physiotherapists present and past, so big shout out to you professionals. Yes, but obviously there are also many other methods if you don't have such a fancy bed. You can either do it on your own bed with a set of pillows. You can either have 2 or 3, or with a set of cushions as well. And obviously you can lay in your side lying, obviously left and right, and your front and or back, which I tend to do also myself on this postural drainage bed, like so. And obviously, and only if you feel comfortable doing so. So postural drainage also uses gravity to help move secretions. I mean, obviously there is other disgusting words, but I don't specifically want to say that word just in case you happen to be eating and or drinking. So secretions is more the appropriate word for me to share with you this day from the lungs. And like I said, this can either be done inside lying on your front and or back, like so, in a 45-degree angle, either that way or that way, depends which way you prefer. But regardless, each position should be held for a minimum of 5 minutes. And I know myself, when I do these treatments myself, lying on my bed throughout the week, it can be anything between, say, between half an hour to an hour. So I know that wasn't obviously recommended for me, but I obviously got used to being as long on my bed as possible, because after all, it's a bit like sleeping on your own bed, but sleeping in a position. So I hope that has all made sense. But obviously, if you want more clarification, because I know not everybody can hear me, or struggle to hear my voice, then of course you're welcome to get in touch below for more clarification. So that is postural drainage from my perspective. So what respiratory conditions uses postural drainage? Now, obviously the big one for me is cystic fibrosis, pneumonia, if I've pronounced that right, bronchitis, and COPD. So I hope that I've pronounced those words correctly, but obviously there are other respiratory conditions which also aids the benefit of clearing the rubbish out your lungs. So what treatments can be performed lying in postural drainage? Now, the main big treatment for me, which I receive on a monthly basis, again from a very dear friend, Sean, who again, as I say, does this on a monthly basis for me, which is very beneficial, and I do have to confess that he does it very well. So again, God's blessings to you, my friend. I do actually enjoy it. I do. I mean, many years ago, I absolutely hated it. I did. I mean, being bashed on your chest for between 10 minutes and half an hour, it's like, oh, I can't wait for this to be over. But many years ago, it was the only condition or the only treatment that was used back then to clear the rubbish out your lungs. But fast forward to the present day, again, like I said, I've got a very dear friend who comes round on a monthly basis to do this bashing on my chest. So yeah, thank you, my friend. It's very appreciative as always. But obviously, I don't specifically use my, or I don't mainly use my postural drainage bed just for percussion. I mean, obviously, I do have to do a bit of treatment myself when Sean's not around, bashing my chest on a monthly basis. Although you will see him in a future video, so I'm looking forward to revealing this great man to yourself coming soon, as I say. Yeah, so obviously there are other treatments that I carry out myself on set days throughout the week, and specifically for myself, I tend to do this on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And what I do for myself, again, lying in that postural drainage way, is, again, I tend to lay on this fantastic bed of mine, like as if I treat it like my own bed. I say anything between 40 minutes to an hour, because after all, I do love laying on this bed. I do. I absolutely love it. I do. And what I do myself, again, which I will show you in a future video, I use a device called an aerobica. Now, this is a device which I not blow into constantly, but obviously, say between every 5 minutes or minimum. Well, I suppose there's not really a minimum as such, but basically every now and again when I'm in that postural drainage position, I blow into my device called the aerobica. And years ago, or not years ago, but before being moved onto the aerobica, I had the a cappella. Again, as you see, both of these devices are of a similar nature, but just called different names, and they both vibrate my lungs to get them rattling and whatever. So I do that on set days of the week. Obviously, a bit of huffing, which is obviously taking a deep breath in. I've done a bit of treatment already, blimey. Just taking a deep breath in, like so. So I tend to do that at the end of cycles of aerobica. Also coughing, which obviously I don't need to do that, because obviously we all cough, whether we've got something wrong with us or not, because it's just human nature. And obviously if I really wanted to be lazy, then I'll just lay on my postural drainage bed for a certain amount of minutes, watching the darts, for example, because again I treat it like my own bed. So again, I hope that's been of help. Okay, so as I come to my penultimate sets of questions, this third question is how many sessions are needed yeah, so again, I can't really answer that question myself. It really depends. Oh no, it's one of those videos where I'm going to be using this P word quite often, is it? Oh dear. Okay. Well, since I'm talking about this conversation, I might as well start using it regularly. It really depends on the advice of your physiotherapist. Man. And again, it also depends how you feel specifically. So obviously, I am not a medical profession. So like I said, I can't really answer that question specifically. But it really depends between yourself and your medical profession. And last but not least, who can perform physiotherapy? Well, to round this up, I mostly say the P word as well. So, but yeah, of course, those trained professionals, family members, obviously like your mother, and obviously a big shout out to my own mother if you're watching. God bless you. And I do have to confess that between the professional and my mother, I hated being bashed on the chest. You know, because it was one of those that, well, now it started, I can't wait for it to be over with, because that's how I felt personally myself. But many years down the line, obviously trained friends can also help out. And again, this is where my very dear friend Sean comes into. And again, I'll be introducing him to you, should I say, in my future video, if not my next. And, you know, I mean, obviously, he didn't really have to do this for me, nor that I had to force him to do it for me. But obviously, you know, it's like Sean said, you know, if you don't ask, you don't get, or if you don't ask, then you don't know. So I did ask, and obviously I didn't specifically open up about my CF straight away, because, you know, it's not a type of conversation that you want to bring up with somebody, or it's certainly not an icebreaker either. But yeah, I mean, obviously I had to get a sense of who Sean was as a person, and etc. And eventually I decided to open up about my CF. And I said, Sean, do my physio, I've got cystic fibrosis. No, I'm only joking, of course not. No. But yeah, I obviously talked about my CF, and quite strangely enough, or coincidentally enough, he had a friend called Stewie, who also had cystic fibrosis, who has unfortunately passed to the spirit world. And when he was friends, or when Stewie was on the earth plane, when Sean was hanging around with Stewie, Sean saw Stewie's mum, get this right, perform percussion for Stewie. And later on in life, Sean's done the same thing for me. Hooray! That's great, that is. Oh my days. No. Oh, seriously, no. But yeah, seriously, you know, this is very, very helpful for me. So it's been a long day, so bear with me. Yeah, so he does this for me on a monthly basis, and obviously some time back, before taking this life miracle drug of Kaftrio, God bless Sean's heart, Sean came around to do my percussion for me every 2 weeks, because back then I was producing more crap from my lungs. And but obviously but moving forward in life, since this close to miracle drug called catheter came into our life. Obviously, this has helped our lungs to be much more healthy, but it hasn't cured me completely, but the condition is still there, and so I do have to keep up with the treatments on a daily basis, whether I get shorn rounds or force shorn rounds, get shorn rounds, obviously, on a monthly basis as we organise that between ourselves. And yeah, that is that. So yes, I've run out of words to say, so I hope that has made sense. Okay, so after all that, I mean, I was kind of, well, I mean, when I first thought that I was going to be doing this, I thought it would only be short and sweet, but obviously when to get into it, it turns out to be a lot longer than you had imagined. So thank you ever so much for listening to me, and in my next video, I should be talking about how the art of chest percussion is also used in combination of okay, may as well say it, chest physiotherapy. Man. So until that time, I'm going to get a drink, and between now and then, I wish you safe. God bless you for watching, and take care. So if you like that video, don't forget to subscribe, give me your thumbs up, and also most importantly, remember to tell all your friends and family.